right, welcome to the Krueg Show, everybody. As we get it rolling after Giants baseball, I was just saying to Danny in the green room, Giants lost that one twice. Fell into a 5-0 hole, climbed out of it miraculously, then coughed it up again. Very frustrating night for the Giants, who did not look sharp at all in their first game after the break. And guys, we get it rolling, of course, here on the Krueg Show. Ryan Smith, Dan Coccimilgio, and, of course, a lot of people sitting in the chat with lots to say. So we'll definitely get to the chat. But, just to recap this one, Freddie Freeman solo bomb to center in the first. LA had a 1-0 lead. And then Trace Thompson hit a double to left in the second, RBI double that scored Hansel Robles. And 2-0 LA at that point. Giants had 2 on and 2 out in the second inning, but Belt popped up on the second pitch to end that rally. And then Justin Turner's fly ball with 2 outs in the third was lost in the twilight sky by Luis Gonzalez, who lost it in the lights. 2 runs scored. That gave LA a 4-0 lead. Hanser Alberto then followed with a double to left that scored Turner to make it 5-0, and you're thinking ball game, it's over. The Giants just look sloppy. I mean, Wilmer Flores couldn't catch Austin Wynn's throw to second base on that Betts stolen base attempt in the 4th inning. That allowed him to go to third. Eventually, Trey Turner would K to end that rally, but Giants were getting no hit by Mitch White. And then Austin Wynns broke up the no-hitter with a single in the 5th. And Giants got on the board in the 7th. Evan Longoria hit a solo shot off Phil Bickford. Giants came back against Bickford. It was 5-1 at that point. But then that inning continued, and they loaded the bases against Bickford. LA went to the pen for Alex Vesia against Yermín Mercedes, who struck out on a high fastball way out of the zone. So it was Darren Ruff up with the bags loaded, and he had a grand slam to left off Vesia. And you got a tie game, 5-5, and you're thinking,
so
wow,
cool.
Yeah, Giants are coming. Giants are back in this thing. And then what I didn't get is why Brandon Belt, who was up after Ruff, why would he be bunting in a 5-5 game with 2 outs and nobody on in the 7th inning? Isn't he trying to pop one out of the yard right there?
Yeah, I think he just felt
there.
I think he felt he was overmatched. Couldn't see the ball well. I mean, he even took the bunt attempt right down the middle. He didn't even see it well or something. I don't know what he was doing.
That was a weird one. And then Trey Turner doubles with 2 outs off Brebby in the bottom of the 7th inning. Kapler opted to intentionally walk Freddie Freeman to pitch to Will Smith, and he got Smith to fly out weakly to Luis Gonzalez in right field. So you got a tie ball game going to the 8th inning. Giants get the leadoff runner on, Wilmer Flores in the 8th. Then Peterson shoots a double into the left field corner. So you have second and third, nobody out for Longoria, who grounds out to the third baseman. Then Luis Gonzalez, the Dodgers kind of made a screw up here. They intentionally walked Gonzalez to load the bases for Thairo Estrada.
Crazy.
And then Evan Phillips goes 3-0 on Estrada. And I
start
losing my S on the 3-0 pitch. The 3-0 pitch was a 1.5 foot low. And the home plate ump, who was the home plate ump?
I don't remember his name.
The home plate ump called it a strike.
Yeah, it was ridiculous.
The obligatory 3-0 strike. I couldn't believe it. I was like, oh my God, that thing almost hit the dirt. So then, but Estrada then walks on the next pitch, and that forces in Flores, and the Giants have a 6-5 lead, and they're still hitting, but Austin Slater grounds into the fielder's choice, and the run got forced out at the plate. And then Joey Bart had just one of the worst at-bats I've seen all year from Joey Bart. He struck out.
Okay. I'm gonna interject. I don't think we can put much S on Bart because the guy didn't start the game. He was interjected into a high leverage game. He was clearly trying to hit one out or something, but I don't know.
I don't know why Wins was in there because supposedly they have good rapport. Well,
and that's fine. If you're going to leave wins in, leave wins in. Let him bat through the game. Like, Bart is not the guy that you bring in a high leverage situation. Like, that's just insanity.
He's got power. He's been swinging the bat better. But, I mean, this at bat was terrible. He swung at a pitch off the plate on the first pitch.
The Giants really, I mean, they got the grand slam by Ruff that saved them. But, Mercedes swings at a ball 3 feet above the strike zone. And then
Mercedes has to put something in play there.
Yeah.
Come on, guy.
And then you've got bases loaded. After they take the lead 6-5, you basically have bases loaded with 1 out and don't score another run.
Right.
And that was the ball game.
That was the game. That was the game. Leone then comes on in the bottom of the 8th. Lux hits a 1-out double into the left field corner. Muncy grounds out to first. And you got Trace Thompson up there with 2 outs, and the Dodgers didn't pinch hit for Trace. I thought they would, but they didn't against the righty. Bart had a huge block on the first pitch of the at-bat. Yeah. We get the runner on third, but then Trace triples to center field and it almost went out. That scored Lux and tied the game at 6. Bellinger then walked against Harleen Garcia. Now that was the worst at bat of the game, or the worst situation.
Yeah,
Garcia is a lefty, and he's brought in to face the lefty, and you got to be more competitive than that. And he walks the lefty, and now he's got to stay in there against Mookie Betts.
Four pitches, right? Like he didn't
walked 4 pitches.
Yeah, they got to have some kind of sign where
9-6.
They got to have some kind of sign where, they got to work on this next pitch to Betts. He's got to throw one in the dirt and act like he just pulled a muscle or something. And is, get him out of there because of that 3-batter rule. I mean, oh my goodness. I was like, when Betts came up against Garcia, and he hasn't had much success against Garcia, I just said, this has got Mookie stardom written all over it. When you walk,
you can't trust anybody in the Giants pen right now. You can't trust anybody. Brebbia, McGee was DFA'd. You can't trust Harleen Garcia. You just can't. You really don't. There's not a lot of trustworthy guys down there.
Isn't in the rotation at the end of the game anymore. He wasn't in there in the 7th. He went to Brebbia.
Good.
So, yeah. So I mean, it looks like Rogers has been demoted to whatever 5th, maybe 6th inning mop up. Yeah.
MF donates $4.99. He says, I was at the game tonight sitting in right field, the all-you-can-eat section. Crazy. The Dodgers had 53,000 people on a Thursday night. In fact, not only was it 53,000 plus tonight, that is the largest crowd in the major leagues this year.
But let me tell you about these Dodger fans. They're weak. You don't deserve a parade, and that's why you got a Cracker Jacks box ring in 2020 with no parade. Because when I looked at the game in the 9th inning, half the people were gone. Okay, you didn't even see the rally. It's 8-6 or 6-6, and the bottom of the 8th, and half the people are gone because the Giants went ahead 6-5. And so you look at the crowd; it's half empty. I mean, what a joke. I know Dodgers.
It was 53,000.
Damn, that was the most fans of any ballpark the entire year.
I understand.
That was the biggest crowd in all of baseball all year. And I believe the Dodgers have the number 1 attendance in the sport.
I understand it was full, but they left when their team got down 6-5. They were gone in the 8th inning when they rallied. Half the crowd was gone. Look at
it was a weird game too. Why did Roberts pull Mitch White?
That was wild.
Oh, just because he probably went more innings and pitches than he was really.
But I mean,
going.
that's modern baseball. He'd only given up 1 hit.
Yeah, but he was. He's not a long guy. He's really not a guy that goes more than 4 or 5 innings. He's not built up.
What was good with like the Dodgers fans? They had their like phone lights on. I didn't quite get an explanation from ESPN.
Dodger fans suck. They got beach balls, the wave.
Like, talking a lot about Billie Eilish being there, but then there was like
Dodger fans are the worst. Last
year in the playoffs, I went and I was the only Giants fan in center field, and everybody
you got out of there alive.
Yeah, I was. Yeah, but the most cheers that you heard the entire night was for Bellinger, which just goes to show you that, like, okay, pretty good looking guy, I guess. And like he did win. He was like, up there in MVP like a couple of years ago, but like he was trash versus the Giants, he was like over 27. That's just like all you need to know. Like the Dodgers fans have no idea what's going on with the club.
Yeah, the Dodger fans are just they're not. I'll tell you what, they have some really good fans that are knowledgeable, but the majority, they're the wave in the middle of a rally, or they got the beach ball going bouncing around. It's just I've been there probably 50 times, and it's just they arrive an inning or two late, and then they leave in the 7th, 8th. It's a worse stadium to try and get out of because it's just they got the parking lot, then you're trapped. You can't. There's no other way out. Is you've got to drive your vehicle to get there. There's no other transit that gets you there. So you're stuck. I understand why they leave early, but still, I just think, they're
not the only fans that leave early. Think Blue says Dan, Giants fans leave early also.
Yeah, I did it myself. Recently.
I was there the night that JT Snow hit the home run against the Mets in the playoffs, and I can guarantee you, because I was sitting on the bottom level of the stadium, there were tons of Giants fans who left that playoff game early and back in the early 2000s. So fans are fans.
Notorious for it, and the reason they have to, I understand, is because if you really got to get out of there, you're stuck there if you leave after the game for over an hour. Just trying to get out of the park.
It's easy to get out of your seat and get to your car because everybody parks on the level that they sit at, but it's hard to get out of the parking lot. And then when you do, get out onto 5, it's a parking lot again, because 5 rolls right by the stadium. I don't know. It was a tough game because the Giants had a chance to win it and then lost it. Today, one of the big significant moments of the day for the Giants is they actually signed Trevor Rosenthal to a 1-year deal for about $4 million, and he's down in AAA now, getting rehabbing.
I think he's not even that. He's in Phoenix. They say he's hurting. He's got a
hamstring, right?
Hamstring when he was doing a showcase for teams, and he was throwing at 96, 97, and he strained his hamstring.
This guy gets hurt a ton. He's always hurt, but I'll tell you, when he isn't hurt, the guy's got the most ridiculous live arm, and he's done it in both leagues. I mean, last time he was pitching, he had a 1.90 ERA. I mean,
he could be a big guy down the stretch. I mean, they're probably today's what, July 20? Is today the 21st or 20? Yeah,
21st. Yep.
So he's probably going to be ready around the 15th of August. So he's
we've got some young people in the chat. Woohoo! Another IL player that will be mid at best.
mid. Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna wake up my 13-year-old and be like, "Hey, somebody just said somebody's mid besides me."
I don't have any of that language going on. Buster doesn't talk, and
well, it just was a frustrating night because the Giants looked sloppy early. Then here's the other thing that kind of worries me. I mean, not worries me, but I mean, just kind of, I thought it was interesting. Brandon Belt is the most patient hitter. And he swung at the first pitch in the first at-bat. He swung at the first and second pitch in the second at-bat, and then tried to bunt in the 7th with nobody on. I don't know what the heck's going on with Brandon Belt, but he either mentally was checked out tonight. He's pissed off at Kapler for pinch hitting for him the other day. Something's not right. Something's amiss. He gave away at-bats tonight. He gave away all of his at-bats. I mean, he really did. I mean, he did not have a good at-bat in the entire night. He probably saw 4 or 5 pitches the entire night. He normally sees like 5 to 6 to 7 pitches per at bat. This guy usually gives you a really good at bat. Today, all of his at bats were pathetic. He was horrendous tonight.
I'll just say this about, I don't know the whole thing about Belt. I don't know what his deal was. He's streaky, but I'll say this about after watching the game, if this doesn't get Giants fans who think we can't trade the farm away for Juan Soto. Juan Soto is a generational talent that I am telling you right here, right now, if anybody has a chance to break Barry Bonds' home run record, it would be Juan Soto.
Okay, that's blasphemous.
No, I'm telling you, he's got 115. What's he need? 650 more.
He came up early. Yeah, I mean, man, he's weird. He's miles from there. That's not even worth talking about.
I'm telling you, if he played,
I hear you. I don't disagree.
He's a guy that could. So what I'm saying is, the Giants have been notorious in their career for having major sluggers. You know, from Mel Lott to Willie McCovey to Barry Bonds, all lefties. And they haven't had a lefty slugger since Bonds retired. Now, it's been 15 years roughly since Bonds retired. I don't know, 15. When did he retire? 07, 08?
Yeah, I think it was.
Well, I mean, he didn't really retire. Then nobody signed him after 07, right? Yeah,
right.
Well, 07, he still had like 25 home runs.
Yeah. So, but it's been 15 seasons. You go out and get that guy. If what you saw tonight from Mookie Betts, who I believe Soto has more talent than Betts, he's got more raw power. He gets on base more. He's got an on base percentage of over 400.
Yeah, also, Mookie has had years that are better than Soto's best year. And yeah, Soto's young, but like I do think it's informational. Like when Soto, like Mookie Betts was not that great last year,
right? But I mean, Mookie's is a star talent. But to me, you go out and you get Juan Soto while you can, and then you sign him to a mega deal, and you build around him. And if the Giants are dependent on 4 of their prospects for the rest of the next 10-year period, then I'm sorry, they've got a crappy farm system if they're only dependent on 4.
Well, I mean, let's say it the way it really is, which is, so wait, these 4 prospects that these are like, so the Giants, who really have had so many failed prospects, but these 4 guys are all going to be awesome and you can't live without them. But the thing is, that's the problem. And there's somebody in here who's like, enough on Soto. I can't listen to any more Soto talk because it's not going to happen. And the thing is, it may not happen because if you're Mike Rizzo, I mean, are you really going to take the Giants prospects? I just wouldn't deal with the Giants, not because I don't like their prospects, just on the history of their previous prospects. The history of their prospects is that they bomb, that they don't succeed. So why would you take a package from an organization that has hardly any success with prospects?
Different regime though, Larry. Totally different drafting, different people. Now you've got analytical people in there that.
So these guys are all awesome, even though none of them are doing it on AA or AAA.
Right.
But also, like, do you want to get bent over by the Dodgers or the Yankees or the Mets? Like, the Dodgers just gave up their top 2 prospects.
And by the way, we've had 4 drafts, Danny. I mean, I'm a show me guy. Okay. I'll give you credit when you deserve it, but I'm not giving you credit before you deserve it. Who's the prospect that Farhan has drafted and developed, promoted to the big leagues, and he's been a stud? Name one. Go ahead.
There we go.
Jimmy Dean. Jimmy Dean. Pork sausage.
It's not the time for jokes.
Oh wait, not pork
Jimmy
sausage.
Dean.
No, that's
that's mute worthy. That's mute worthy. Nick Martinez says, "Stop with the Juan Soto talk, please. God, it's never going to happen." I'm kind of with Nick on that. I will say this: Farhan did have a quote today. He said, "Almost any spot we could add somebody who's a superstar caliber player. I think we have that flexibility, both roster wise and financially. It'll be interesting to see how the next 10 days evolve." So that's a quote that tells me they're definitely in. Now, I interviewed Dave Fleming today when I was on with Damon Bruce on 95.7 The Game. And I asked Dave the basic question. I said, Dave, is the Soto to the Giants talk, is it viable? I mean, is it viable at all, or are we spinning our wheels? I was thinking kind of like Nick Martinez. Stop, for the love of God, with the Juan Soto. It's not going to happen. And I asked him, is it viable? He said, absolutely, it's viable. I said, absolutely, it's viable.
Oh, I believe they have if I was betting and putting odds, down, that I would put money that the Giants have probably one or two. I think they're one or two. I really believe.
Dan, I'll book those odds.
No, here's why I'm serious is because I think this team knows they need something. Farhan will go after. I really believe he went after Harper in his first season, and Harper was really.
Did you see the MLB.com trade?
Which one? I've seen several of them.
The one that involved the Giants.
Oh, the one that involved.
So
Logan
this is
Webb?
the trade. This is the trade as the MLB.com threw out this trade. This is Sarah Lang. I think she put her Langs or Lang.
Yeah, Sarah Lang.
The Nationals would get Logan Webb, Marco Luciano, Kyle Harrison, Luis Matos, and Elliot Ramos, and the Giants would get Soto. I threw that out on Twitter today to Giants fans everywhere. Would you make that trade? And I would say, and I haven't looked at it, wasn't a poll question. I haven't looked at every answer, but my sense of it from just looking at the responses, it was about 50-50. Some people saying still make the trade. Other people were
stupid.
Other people were saying
trade. Nats
other people were saying
Webb.
like, do not move Logan Webb.
He's not going to be part of it because the Nats don't want Webb. And the reason they don't want Webb,
well, it doesn't line up with it doesn't line up with their trajectory. Like
no, they're not. He's
Yeah.
by the time they're good, he's going to
players.
be. He'll walk as a free agent when they're ready.
But it said they wanted the 4 top prospects, somebody to take on Patrick Corbin, and a major league player. They want major league
talent. They're going
talent.
to want somebody like that has a lot of years of control that is not arbitration eligible. Someone like a VR, a Wade.
Nobody wants Lamont Wade. Okay, let's stop with that. That's crazy. Nobody wants Lamont Wade. Stop.
But they're going to take guys that they can just build around and develop, and they're not going to get 4 top prospects and then a star player off of a roster. I just don't see, because if that star, unless
so they don't want Webb, but they do want Wade.
Well, here's the reason they're not going to want Webb. They're in a division with the Mets, the Braves, and the Phillies, and they're not ready to compete for years, especially if they get rid of Soto. So they'll be ready to compete in 3 or 4 years at the time Webb's ready to walk.
Plus, they have the 3 year. They have the 3 year. 3 years ago they won a World Series.
Right. So
don't you think they're going to want? What do you think all those prospects
they might
are?
want a Duvall. They might want a Duvall or something that they can control.
But it's also like, okay, they're about to sell their team. So like, who is going to sell tickets in a downslide? Like they're obviously not trying to compete for 10 years.
If that was the deal, if that
years.
was the deal, because that's a tough deal to pull the trigger on.
I wouldn't do it.
If that's the deal, are you making it?
No.
Danny?
With Webb,
Yeah,
Harrison,
that's the deal.
Harrison, Luciano.
I just read it to you. It was Logan Webb, Luciano, Kyle Harrison, Luis Matos, and Elliot Ramos. If that's the deal, take it or leave it. What are you doing?
To me, that deal is, if you want to sell more tickets, take the deal. If you want to win more games, don't take the deal.
Well, I don't think you take that, and the reason why is because
You don't want to trade Webb.
Webb's gone, then Rodon will be gone. Then now what do you do with pitching for the next? You have nothing.
By the way, Rodon today, guys, we should mention this. Rodon reached that plateau that he needed to reach, so he's a free agent at the end of the year
if he opts out.
Yeah, with the 5 innings tonight, Rodon has now reached 110 innings for the season. So he officially has the right to opt out after the season if he would like to. So you know the way this works. This, to me, is the incentive to trade Rodon, because if he gets hurt, he opts in.
Well, here's what I do.
If he doesn't get hurt and he pitches well and you want him to opt in, then he opts out.
You know what I do, Larry?
If he pitches well, he's a free agent. If he gets hurt or doesn't pitch well, he'll opt in. So you lose either way. I think this is the time to trade Rodon for a couple pieces, and maybe you could not include Logan Webb in a Soto deal because you could trade Rodon for a couple pieces and take some of what you got there and substitute that for Logan Webb.
Here's what I do. I trade the pieces of the 4 prospects. I go what's one? Luciano, Harrison, Matos, 3, and then I take Corbin's contract back and I throw in maybe a 7th or 8th rated prospect, not the 4th, because if you take Corbin's contract, that gives you the ability to not give up your top 4. So you give your top 3, you take on Corbin,
Postado,
and you give him your 9th, 10th prospect, whatever, maybe a Will Wilson, something like that, who was a number 1 draft pick just a couple years ago. So you're giving up 4 number 1, top picks, and then you take Corbin's contract and you get Soto, and then you trade Rodon to Seattle, and you get their top prospect, who is like 19th in all of baseball. He's equal to Marco Luciano. Hits for power.
Okay, but Dan, what are we talking about here? Let's all be realistic. Like, by the time the trade deadline happens, they are going to be no worse than 4 games out of the wild card slot. So if you think they're going to be selling, then yeah, but they're not going to be.
I agree with Rye on that, but here's the thing. I just outlined for you the Soto situation. He's a free agent at the end of the year if he's healthy or good.
You mean Rodon?
So, a Rodon. Yeah. So Rodon is going to be a free agent if he's healthy or if he pitches well or both. If he's not healthy, then you're going to be on the hook for him, and he's been hurt a lot.
Here's what I do then.
That would worry me. And by the way, James Foster donates $4.99. He says, hit the like button if you think they should trade for Juan Soto.
Here's what I do with Rodon. I get him and Boros in a meeting or, directly, and I say, look, we're going to trade Rodon unless he's willing to take an offer and sign a long-term. We're going to offer him, he's getting $22 million a year. We're going to turn that next year.
When are we going to play hardball with it? Scott Boras is the same agent. He's Juan Soto's agent.
Well, yeah, but just say, hey, we're trying to, he doesn't have a say, I don't think, Boros. Maybe he does where he gets traded. I think it's the Nats' decision more than Boros, whatever the Nats accept. So I think Farhan is dealing directly with Rizzo on this. I don't think Boros gets in and says, hey, wait a minute, we're not going to the Giants. So I take Rodon and I say, look, we want to build around you. Are you willing to take an additional 3 years at $30+ million a year? Give him 3 more years on top of next year. So he's signed for 4 more years, and you've got him for, say, $100 million or whatever. And if he's not, then I say, okay, we don't know what you're going to – that shows that you're not willing to re-up when you opt out with us. So we're going to move you, and I think you can get – because Seattle's going to be all in. They're going for it. They need to make the playoffs. Rodon would push them over the top. I mean, you got Rodon and Robbie Ray now. Now you've got yourself 2, number 1 starters. You can possibly, do some damage in the playoffs and plus make the playoffs. When's the last time Seattle made the playoffs? Like 2000, was it when Rodriguez and Griffey were there?
No, 01, no. I mean, they almost made it last year.
But hey, almost. That that only counts in what do they say? Hand grenades and what's
horseshoes?
Horseshoes
yeah.
and hand grenades. Yeah,
I hear you. I don't know these phantom trades. I mean, the Giants and Seattle have made a lot of trades this year.
They made a lot of trades. You can do that. That kid, I've watched some highlights of him.
Who are you talking about?
Marte of Seattle. He's their number 1 prospect. And
I thought Emerson Hancock was their number 1 prospect. No,
I think let me look here. Their number 1 prospect for.
I mean, look, if you want to move Rodon, there's going to be a number of teams that want Rodon. I mean, the Yankees would want Rodon. You might be able to get Jason Dominguez if they don't get Juan Soto. So I mean, there'll be a market for Rodon if he's healthy. If he's not healthy, and that's why I would move Rodon simply from the standpoint of he's a ticking time bomb. As soon as he's like, up, not healthy, don't feel good, it comes out of a game, they get nothing. Then you get nothing except him opting in for $22 million next year with a question mark hanging over his head about his health.
Yeah,
So to me, the big play was always this year. Sign Rodon for the 2 years and trade Rodon in July. So I'm okay with the idea of trading Rodon, but I just don't. When I saw the Dodger fans in the All-Star game chanting for Soto to the Dodgers, and then he turned around and smiled and waved, I gotta think he wants to be a Dodger.
He'll be a Dodger. Let's be honest. He's going to be a Dodger. They're going to let Bellinger go in free agency, and it's going to be all hunky dory.
No, he's not a free agent. I would say doesn't Bellinger have arbitration eligible? Yeah. He's sitting around. He's not going anywhere. I mean, I don't know. I just look at this. Anonymous says, regardless, Larry, Rodon's gone at the end of the year. Get what you can for him. I kind of agree. The only way he's not gone at the end of the year is if he's got a broken down arm. And then you're on the hook for $22 million.
Or if you re-sign him now to extend him.
His agent is Boris. He's going to the market. Boris was there tonight. He takes his guys to free agency. He doesn't cut deals in the 11th hour to stick around. And Rodon has no allegiance to Kapler, Farhan, the Giants, the Bay Area. He's a mercenary. I mean, he's been here. Does he? I bet you if you told Rodon, here's $100 without looking at your phone, find Union Square, he couldn't find it. He has no idea. He has no idea where anything is. He's probably gone from his hotel to the ballpark. He's probably not tied to the area at all.
He's a competitor, and he said some good things about the Giants, and he wants to win. I do believe that if you gave him the right offer, that knowing his history, that he might take it. But that's not the way the Giants normally do business.
Well, what do you think he wants? He wants the kind of contract that Gausman got last year, and the Giants don't want to give those kind of contracts, and probably shouldn't.
And if they're not willing to do it, then they should trade him, because they definitely will lose him at the end of the year. Or like you said, after the trade deadline, he goes out and his elbow starts hurting and he needs Tommy John, and then he's on the hook for $22 million, and the Giants get nothing, So, I mean, to me, you either do one of two things. You say, we're going to try and go for the title this year, win it all. And if we get Soto,
they're not winning it all. Stop. We got to stop with that too.
Well,
they're not winning it all. They're not winning it all. They're not.
If they had a Juan Soto in their lineup, it changes everything. And
it changes things by like maybe 4 games at most.
So if you don't get Soto in the next week and a half before, then you trade Rodon, because you're not going anywhere.
Nick Martinez says, is Dan 1, living in a fantasy world, 2, an optimist, or 3, high?
It's number 2.
Okay, you're an optimist. All right. Realmoney.com on the web.
No, I'm serious. I think if they got, you look at this team.
DJ Venus says, Dan, stop.
You add Juan Soto to this team.
Anonymous. Dan, you're dreaming.
Okay. I mean, I'm going to come back here in the next week and a half, and you guys are all going to be shocked when I'm right.
Okay, but
wait a second. You're right about what? What are you right about that we're wrong about? I'd like to know that.
I believe the Giants have a very good shot at getting Soto.
Well, I do too, but not nearly as good as other teams.
No, I think they're right there at the top.
About, see, here's the thing. It's not, one, do they want Soto?
Yes.
They definitely do. They definitely do.
2, are they willing to pay Soto?
Yes.
Are they willing to, have a player that makes that kind of money?
Yes.
The quote that I read you from Farhan was from an interview that he did today. If you just listen to that quote, it sounds like the Giants. It almost sounds to me like Larry Bear has called Farhan and said to him, we're boring as shit. And I know you're a good GM, but we're boring as shit. and nobody wants to come watch us right now. So we need a draw. So the only reason I would think the Giants have any chance is because I think their management, the owners, and their management, the GM, are probably for different reasons still in agreement, in lockstep. Larry Baer knows the Giants need a draw because he's been here for years and knows that coming off 107 wins, they should have way more momentum at the box office than they do now. Farhan knows that the fans are getting a little impatient. I will say this. I mean, they won 107 last year, so I know that some people would say, they should be way more patient. Look at the year they had last year. Okay, granted, but fans are fans. I do think that if you went through this year, and let's say the Giants didn't make it to the playoffs, but all they got out of this year was they acquired Juan Soto as the foundation piece going forward, I still think it's a winning year.
Absolutely.
I would say it's a good year for the Giants if they don't make the playoffs and they still get Juan Soto.
Let me tell you,
Willard, I know Mark Willard has argued that, it's all about, spending your money wisely and it's about winning, and winning is more important than the marquee guy. But I think that that's not necessarily the way this market works. I think this market, you got to win, but you also got to have somebody, the good part about the Bay Area is that we got other things to do. The bad part about the Bay Area is we got other things to do. You know what I mean? So it's really cool that people here don't lose their mind if the team's not great. But guess what? If the team falls out of contention and they have no stars, it's going to be a ghost town.
Let me tell you, as a season ticket holder,
Dan. Would you're pushing for Soto? Would you say there's better than a 1 in 10 chance that they get Soto?
Yeah, I do. I really do. I think they know.
Okay, then let's put your money where your mouth is. All right, let's book $1,001 to win 100 on the Giants getting Juan Soto.
1,000 to bet up.
1 to 10 odds.
That's better than 10%. It's slightly better than 10%.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to make a move like that. I'm not that crazy. But I will say this.
Yeah, there we go.
I will say this. As a season ticket holder, if the Giants are listening, I'm talking right now to the people in the chat and the people who are watching, and to the Giants front office.
And with your hands.
Because I'm Italian and Pasquale. Can I get a Pasquale?
Oh, you can always get. Are you kidding me? You can always get a Pasquale.
We talk with
grew up with a Sunday dinner. That means no matter how busy you were, no matter where the hell you were.
No matter you're talking about the Sunday dinner, and no matter where the hell you were, you showed up for the Sunday dinner.
All right, Dan. You know what? I'm gonna put you in handcuffs right here.
No, you're not, because I'm gonna finish my thought first.
No. Because
I'm coming after you. You're not gonna put me in no handcuffs.
And $1 for a $100 bet that the Giants get Juan Soto. Guess what, Dan? Yeah. I'll take that reverse. Give it to me. I'll give it to you.
What's that? I give you 100?
No, I'll give you 100. And then you give me $1,001 when the Giants get Juan Soto.
No, if they don't, you mean?
No, if they do.
So you're just going to give me $100?
Yeah. So I just offered you the reverse, and then now I'll take the deal that I offered you. That's how strongly I feel about it.
All right, let's wager off air.
Okay. All right. Now let me get my thought.
Let Danny make his thought.
Okay,
I'm
looking right into the camera here. Okay.
You're a beautiful man.
Yeah. Let me take my glasses off.
Oh, look at that! Take off that Giants hat. Let me see that. Let me see that dome.
And I'm not even relaxed. I'm relaxed. Okay. I will tell you.
Make this point with the hat backwards, at least.
All right. There we go.
There you go. All right. Look at this. He's a millennial. All right, go ahead.
So as a season ticket holder, that
almost looks like a headband, doesn't it? Almost look like a bandana.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
I love the Giants. I've loved them since I was 7-8 years old.
Nobody gives a shit about that. Just make your damn point.
My point is if the Giants do not acquire Juan Soto this year, and miss the playoffs, I will not
Give me $1,000.
I will not renew my season tickets.
Oh my
I
God.
will wait for the prospects that you are holding on to come up and start producing before I ever renew again. I will renew if these prospects turn out to be good, but I will take the next few years off, and I am not in the minority here.
Okay, but let me throw a couple of chat comments in here. GD5 says, let's be honest, guys. The Giants bucked their recent trend and actually put all their chips in the middle of the table for Juan Soto. It would be the biggest move they've made since signing Barry Bonds in the winter of 1992 prior to the 93 season. Will we all agree?
No kidding.
Absolutely.
So we're talking about 30 years.
Yeah.
I mean, this is like their biggest move in 30 years.
I know. Hey, we got 3 World Series without a lot of stars. We had some pitching. We had great pitching, and we had Buster, but we didn't have
faith.
Or Buster.
But if you're telling me that these prospects come up and become another Kane and Lincecum and Bumgarner.
That's the other thing. If you had to bet on any of these prospects, just based on what you know, like I wouldn't bet everything that I had on Marco Luciano. Hell no.
No.
No way. No. Luis Matos? No. Probably I'd bet the most on Kyle Harrison, and I just watched him give up 2 of the most titanic home runs I've ever seen over the weekend in the futures game. And, he throws 98, but guess what? So does everybody else. So does Tyler Beatty.
Tommy Huxley says, good night. It's 2:30. Is he on the East Coast?
Oh, yeah. He's our chef from Florida.
Oh, Florida. Okay. All right, Tommy. Come on out to the Bay Area and, make us that special. He's the guy that makes
Rocha says, like Larry said, the Giants have no history of producing any prospects for the most part. I mean, yeah, they had a little run there with some pitching, Buster and Pablo and Bumgarner and Lincecum and Kane. I mean, they had their nice little run.
Like that was a run.
What's that?
That was in Wheeler. Like that was an all-time run.
Zach Wheeler. Yeah.
I mean, they had a
little run there.
And that was because they were not so good for a few years, and they were able to get early draft picks. Those guys.
Tommy's a San Ramon boy.
Oh, he said 2:30.
S4G says last year was a fluke.
Nah, I don't think so. I don't.
It wasn't so much a fluke as that you just had guys play to their maximum potential.
Romo 2001 says the Giants produced Lincecum, Kane, Bumgarner, Sandoval, Posey, Belt, Crawford, Romo, Wilson. Not too bad. All right, you're missing an O there on your 2, but yeah, that's not bad.
Throw in a little Joe Panic, maybe.
Yeah.
But all those guys led to. How many of them played for? I think all of them were in. Krueg and Belt played on.
Robert Rocha says Nationals will be wanting to deal with the Dodgers because the Dodgers have a proven track record of producing prospects.
It's possible they just.
This is an interesting one. This next one. What do you think of this? GD5. Agreed, Larry. I'm not sure exactly what he agrees with, but he says I'd rather build around Soto with Farhan's fines than to barely get a third wild card and then we're out due to no-name guys sucking in the playoffs.
Well, that's just a little bit too accurate. GD5. That's very accurate.
This guy says I wouldn't. Kyle McKiernan says I would not get rid of my system for one guy.
Okay,
I hear you, but there's so many guys that have failed in their system. I mean, they would almost have to be. It would almost be a statistical aberration if they traded 5 or 6 prospects and 5 or 6 prospects all became good. I mean, that would be an unbelievable bad stroke of luck, right? Because think about it. Of their prospects, they've traded think about all the trades that Sabian made from when he took over in the mid 90s through the 2014. How many prospects did he deal that actually burned him? Zach Wheeler?
Yeah,
Adam Duvall,
Brian Reynolds, Adam Duvall.
Brian Reynolds. That was more of a Evans deal, but yeah.
And Reynolds was a slight burn. It wasn't.
I agree with this one. I love the Dodgers. I think SF's prospects are years away. I agree too. I agree with that.
God damn you. I love Dodgers.
Here's the thing: the Nationals can
like light
absorb
years
that,
away,
though.
according to Rebel 444.
The Nationals can absorb that, though. But here's the deal that would be awful for the Giants. If they traded Luciano, Harrison, Matos, and took Corbin on and maybe Ramos.
I love the idea of taking Corbin on. I think Corbin might actually be good here.
He could be. He could be. He's a lefty that he's not hurt. He's just lost his, maybe it's a mechanical issue. Maybe he's
to me, that would
pitches.
also tell me that the Giants owners are like, hey, you know what? We'll spend the money to to save prospects. And that would be a good thing.
That's what they should be doing.
They should be doing that.
In the best of both worlds, if they only had to give up one top prospect and some mid-level prospects and they took on Strasburg, that would be unbelievable. But I don't think you'll get them to do that.
Nick Sandoval donates $4.99. He says the bullpen and the defense still stink. Just Juan Soto isn't fixing that. The gap between us and the Dodgers is way bigger than just Soto. I don't think anybody's saying, Nick, that if the Giants get Soto, they'll suddenly be the Dodgers. I think what we're saying is that the Giants are boring as hell and that they really don't have anybody that would even make you buy a jersey, let alone a jersey. And Juan Soto, you know how many Juan Soto jerseys would be sold? I mean, you might be able to pay back your investment on Juan Soto just in jerseys alone.
And what number would you give him if you got Soto? Would you give him like number 2? I mean, would that be a good? Because 22 is getting retired.
Unretire it. Give it to Soto.
Yeah, seriously.
First of all, they never should have given it to Will in the first place. Jack Clark was 22. Yeah. He was like one of the best players of the decade for the Giants. It was weird that they gave Will 22. And it's not like they didn't give 22 out since Will. Didn't Peavy wear 22?
PV wore 22. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, and you know what? The Niners gave Nick Bosa 97, and yet Bryant Young's going to the Hall of Fame. He wore 97.
I think knowing Will, he would say, heck yeah, give him my number.
Wait, what would he say?
Heck yeah, give him my number. I want Danny here.
I love that. Anonymous says, Larry, Farhan is on line 1. He wants to talk to Dan.
Very good.
Okay, should we role play?
Yeah, let's put him on.
Okay, we'll role play. I'll be Farhan.
Okay.
Hey, Farhan, how you doing? Welcome to the Krueg Show.
Hi, Dan. How you doing? Good to see you.
Yeah, great to see you too, Farhan. Hey, we have some questions that are some pretty direct questions for.
What do you mean by we, Dan?
Yeah, do you have a mouse in your pocket?
Yeah, Stewie Fairchild, right here. Oh, sorry, Farhan.
Oh, I might have to. I'm looking over at my PR guy now.
All right. I'm on the phone with Farhan's agent. Okay. He's going to stay on the line for at least 5 more minutes, as long as Dan doesn't make another decision.
If Danny does that, if he does it one more time, I'm hanging up.
Season ticket holder, lifelong Giants fan. I want to know, how serious are you guys in the hunt for Juan Soto?
Pretty serious. Oh, sorry.
Well, we believe that we just need to make incremental improvements, and we're open to improving the club any number of ways, and we have the money to do anything we'd like to do, and it's just a matter of we'll have to see how it goes. We'll have to see what the market bears.
And are you willing to?
That was a good response, Farhan. Good job.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Are you willing to trade your top prospects and do whatever it takes?
Well, Dan, as you know, you're a very intelligent man. You're very accomplished in your own field. Anybody would know that it doesn't behoove me to negotiate in the press.
I understand that, but how do you answer to the fact that, as like myself, a season ticket holder, and
I just want to make sure, as Farhan's agent, I just want to make sure, Dan, are you indeed a season tickets holder?
Is it like a 13-game plan that you have?
It's all 82 games plus.
Oh, well, thank you for investing in us. Go ahead with your question, Mr.
Obviously, I'm going to check
level too.
Can I call you DC?
Sure, whatever.
DC, continue with your question.
Okay,
Yeah,
good job.
I'm a club level.
You've
I'm not out in the 415 or the bleachers. I'm in the club level, the more expensive seats.
And we love everybody, whether they're in the bleachers or right behind the plate, Dan.
Yeah.
How's my Farhan so far? I'm pretty good.
Yeah.
Okay,
Hey, spot on.
As a
we've
season
completely
ticket holder,
disturbed him. He's completely lost his attack focus.
Do you have any fantasy football questions for me?
Yes, yes.
Well, what I want to ask you, Farhan, is watching the club, and you've made some brilliant moves. I got to give you credit. You got Yaz.
Thank you, Dan. Thank you,
You got
DC.
Yaz. You found
Let me stop the interview. Let's make sure to clip that out. Okay, so Farhan has made some amazing moves. Okay, all right. Social team, they're on it. They're on it.
Made some amazing moves. He's had Farhan. I mean, he's had Yaz, Wade, Gonzalez this year. Some great finds. Darren Ruff out of the Korean League. But the team is old. It's kind of slow. And frankly, many nights it's just hard to watch. And
well, as you know, Dan, we did inherit some veteran players, and we've tried to improve those players incrementally. And I think for the most part, last year we have. Some of them, unfortunately, for various reasons, have taken a step back this year. But we feel like last year with the 107 wins that we actually got, some good things going and some positive momentum. I will take note of the fact that you feel like we're not an exciting team that needs more speed. I think we're always looking to add speed and power to our club.
I understand. Very good. I do have a question, not from me, but from one of our fans that follow. And this comes from Kevin. He says, Farhan, why are you being so cheap? Do you profit off of not spending a certain budget?
Well, Dan, I think we are 13th or something in payroll. We're spending $155 million, and we've spent over $200 million in the past. So I really don't think that our 2022 payroll should be a referendum on our willingness to spend money. I think we've shown our fans in the past that we are most definitely willing to spend money.
But we look at
one second, Dan. As Farhan's agent, I just would like to ask you: would you say that there's a little bit better than a 10% chance that we get Juan Soto?
Are you talking to me or are you talking to Farhan?
Yeah, I'm asking you.
I don't know. I'm not in on the negotiations. I don't know how they go.
Oh, so you have no thoughts. You have no predictions.
I'm not into predicting. I'm in the results. I want to see results. The Dodgers spend money. The Padres are spending money. The Diamondbacks have like 4 or 5 very exciting prospects that are now. Several of them are up on the big club.
And we
haven't seen any prospects.
Arizona, and yet
we haven't seen one of Farhan's prospects that he drafted or signed. We haven't even seen him make AAA yet. So
it is a process, and sometimes there are fits, stops and starts. And I don't want to make excuses, Dan, because I'm not an excuse maker. But the fact of the matter is, the pandemic, affected the minor leagues and maybe stalled out some of the development of some of our prospects. But we feel like we're having a good year in the minor leagues this year, and we do feel that several of our prospects are progressing through the system.
When do you see them being ready to make it to the major leagues then?
Well, it is very difficult to say, and I couldn't speak in generalities, but I could basically say that, we feel like there's several players in our system that are making strides. And as you've seen over the last few weeks, we've promoted guys from single A to AA and AA to AAA. So we're trying
Who went from AA to AAA?
Well, Dan, he
went from AA to AAA. RJ Dabovich. We promoted RJ Dabovich.
RJ Dabovich,
yeah, he's now AAA, and we feel like he may be able to help us in the bullpen this summer. Okay, possibly.
But now we look at Arizona. You mentioned the pandemic, and it kind of slowed everything down.
You know what?
It's not slowing down a lot of other clubs' top prospects. They seem to be just, I mean, I just watched the ball game tonight, and I saw Austin Slater in center field for the 3rd time misplay a ball that probably could have been caught and maybe won the game.
We actually feel that Austin has played very well this year.
Well, I think he has.
As Farhan's agent, I just would like to say that I have been paying very close attention to the post-game show, especially when Dan Coccimilgio is on there, and I've just heard nothing but Austin Slater love. And so I
love Slater. I just wondering if we could get a true center fielder that we're seeing other clubs come up with. There's like 5 really good young center fielders out there that are just all over it.
5 of them. Could you name them?
Well, the kid Rodriguez up there in Seattle is one. We just saw a kid in was it San Diego that was going and getting them. Chicago, I think the White Sox. I'm trying to remember. I just watched some games where guys were just rookies and they were just like covering everything,
flying around.
We feel like we have good outfield depth.
Good outfield depth. Okay, who is that? Like Darren Ruff and Luis or Hermie?
We feel like we really struggle to get all of our, enough at bats to our outfielders as it is.
Farhan,
in fact, we just made a trade that we had to ship out Steven Duggar because we didn't feel like we had any at bats for him. I understand your frustration. Everybody wants it now, but it's a process, and it takes a little time.
Right.
We're working towards it.
So, what do you say to us fans, season ticket holders, people who are? Do we just?
I would say, obviously, we demonstrated a year ago that we know what we're doing by putting together a team that set the franchise record in wins, and we feel like there's going to be more winning coming down the road, and we would just ask for the fans to try to be patient with us as we take this team from where we were and the club that we inherited with a lot of bad money to where we're going in the future with depth of prospects and guys graduating to the big leagues each and every year.
When are we going to see that, though? When do you start?
Well, I think we started to see that a little bit with David VR. I saw you in San Diego calling his home run.
Yes,
and I was very impressed.
As David VR's also David VR's agent, I can't help but see that you were talking to his parents, and I know I didn't allow you to necessarily get an interview with his parents, but as David VR's agent, I feel like you are invested in the man's success, and
I like seeing young guys come up, especially
you like young men
that have the ability to see what they can do. I just want to know, what is the blueprint right now that you see? I mean, last year you did it kind of with overachieving veterans that had career years. We're seeing them tail off.
You're saying that my client Farhan made veterans overachieve, perform beyond their normal level.
You always have to have this guy, your agent, speak for you, Farhan. Well, can't you speak for yourself? You're the freaking president of baseball operations.
I am. I absolutely am. And I can appreciate your enthusiasm and your emotion and your investment. And all I would say is that, I think we've established that we know baseball and that we can build a good team. I think last year's team was really, really, obviously a very exciting team. And now we're looking to be able to promote our own guys and sustain it. And it is a process. And I do understand your frustration. And I do understand the fans' desire to have everything right now. And just all I would say to that is that we're working on it. Take some time and try to be patient. And thanks for having me on. And thanks for having me on.
I got a couple real quick more questions. So fans love to ask questions of you. And one of them wanted to know, I think it was Carlo, wanted to know about the Dubon trade to Houston for Papierski. Were you kind of like, they knew the Astros knew you were desperate because Dubon had no place to go, and so you just kind of grabbed Papierski for
we needed catching depth. We needed catching depth, and we felt like Dubon needed a change of scenery, and so we moved him on, and we were really
you don't
happy.
Feel like you could have got more than a journeyman catcher that's already gone.
We're happy with the return on Rodon.
Yes. And
we're happy with the return on Dubon.
Did he get any hits? I can't remember his. Did he get any hits for the Giants? I don't think he did. I think he had about 10.
Dan, the thing you fail to realize is that my client Farhan, not only is he the GM of the San Francisco Giants, but he is also the GM of a very high-end fantasy baseball National League. And so with that in mind, the man understands. He understands trades. He understands, Papirski. He understands Dubon. All right, I'm blowing this. All right, I'm gonna.
I'm just kind of curious, Farhan. Do you guys see the need to either develop stars and get them here quickly or trade?
It's funny. I came to this chat, and the one thing that was explained to me is that if Mark Graves says mute Dan, that Dan gets muted.
That is correct.
I find that very humorous.
Yes, yeah, it is.
That's kind of what you guys have established here. All I would say is that I understand your frustration, and just stick with us. Stick with us. It's a long year. I know there's a give and take, and there's the ups and downs, and it's not a linear deal, and there's going to be some ups and some downs, and there's going to be some bumps in the road. But we feel like we're making incremental improvement with the various moves we make. Some moves are long-term moves, like Colton Welker or Luis Gonzalez. Some moves, like Papirski, are really more in the moment moves, and it's more of roster shuffling in the moment. And so you've referenced Papirski, and yes, we didn't get a lot of ABs out of Papirski, but we didn't feel like we lost in that deal because we added some catching depth at a time where we desperately needed it. But Danny, thank you very much for having me on, and I'd love to come back with you guys again because you guys are really a lot of fun.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah. Well, thanks for coming on, Farhan.
We grew up with a Sunday dinner.
Well, man,
that's a wrap. That's a
wrap. I got mastered. I got mastered by the master. He comes in, plays Farhan, and just shuffles me aside.
Well, do you get the sense of sometimes what it's like when you're doing these interviews? It's like there's questions that you want to ask that you can't ask. There's questions that you want to ask that he can't answer.
Right.
There's questions that you want to ask, but it would seem insulting or argumentative.
Right.
So it's a minefield of deals. It's funny. The late Salty Balty always wanted to get on with Sabian, but the bottom line on it is that there's a limit to what you can ask.
Sometimes you just have to job, and he could put the best possible deal forward, better than any other club out there possibly, and still have it rejected. I mean, that's the odds are that the Nationals, who knows what deal they'll take.
Mike Rizzo could love the Dodger prospects. He could have wanted those guys in the amateur draft, didn't get them. And now this is I'll say this too. I mean, from the deals that I've looked at, I looked at all the sample trades that were out there, right?
Oh, yes. I mean, you are the general manager of the job.
No, but this is just Larry now. If I looked at those deals, okay, I would take the Padres deal. I wouldn't even think twice.
Sure.
They've got better prospects, higher rated prospects, more prospects.
What was theirs? Was it Mackenzie Gore, C.J. Abrams, and
Robert Hassel III, who they call Bobby Barrels, who was in the futures game, and he's kind of like a Kyle Tucker. He's like a 6'3", 6'4" corner outfielder with a beautiful swing. So I mean, he's big time. They also have the catcher. They've got a young catcher who's at AAA, ready to jump into the big leagues, and they've got Mackenzie Gore. And they also have had better success with their prospects. So ultimately, I think what's going to be really interesting here is how much are the Nationals motivated by prospects? How much are they motivated by money? It seems to what I keep reading is that Mike Rizzo, and this is not a Rizzo deal. Rizzo doesn't want to trade this guy. He knows how good he is. This is a deal from ownership. And so when you factor that in, and I heard Eduardo Perez talking to Dave Fleming about this tonight, and that was just that Eduardo expects the trade to come down by the 2nd of August because he says that he thinks that this is coming from ownership. And so the people that are going to buy the Nationals from the Lerners don't want blood on their hands. They want to make sure that Soto gets moved before they take control so that they themselves don't have to trade Soto away.
Yeah, this is what I was saying.
They're saying that the deal's coming down and that it absolutely is coming down. So
this is what I told you guys a month ago when he rejected the very first
you were on
offer.
it early.
And I said they're going to offer him because they're trying to sell the club, and they're going to either sign him and have it done, or they're going to get rid of him. And did you guys see the article that I sent? I may have sent it to you from.
Think Blue says, as Uncle Gary would say, they're dull. They're dull.
Yeah,
the Giants are kind of dull right now. I mean, I love the guys that they have. As far as I'm a Brandon Crawford fan, I'm a Brandon Belt fan, but those guys are now on the backside, of their careers. And there's Longoria, same. So it's kind of an older team, and they're trying to kind of they're trying to serve like multiple masters. They're trying to, on one hand, battle at the major league level and sneak into that wild card spot. I think the division's kind of run away from them, but I think they'd like to sneak into that wild card spot because they know they've won a World Series out of the wild card spot. On the other hand, they also kind of know that they're a little bit ahead of schedule as far as their prospects aren't ready to contribute at the major league level. They're probably a couple years away.
Arizona's a step ahead of them. I'm telling you, they've got
Arizona's got players that are breaking through at the big league level right now. The one thing is the Giants are way ahead of Arizona in that Arizona is poor. Arizona has got leveraged deals. Arizona doesn't have an ability to go in the free agent market and add anybody. The Giants do. Giants have money to spend. It's just a matter of when do they want to spend it. And they want to spend it right about the time that their prospects are graduating to the big leagues. Now, the Soto availability, I think, kind of comes out of left field, guys. And I don't know that Farhan was anticipating this or the Giants were anticipating this. So now it's kind of forced the Giants to kind of take inventory. Where are we in our organization? Well, we've got Luciano. We really like him. What year, like right now, if we're having a meeting and Farhan and all the scouts are sitting around. All right, guys, where's Soto right now? He's in high A, right? Isn't he in high A?
High A.
Or Luciano?
No,
Luciano. I meant Luciano.
All their
Marco
best
Luciano.
prospects.
Luciano's in high A. So that means for sure he is not going to be here until probably 2025.
No, four. I think he'll be here.
Well,
in 4.
okay. So, first of all, many prospects don't conquer AA at all.
He would, if he didn't injure himself, he would be in AA probably right now. He was crushing.
Yeah,
high
but
A.
hitting
but he's only hitting 280 in A ball.
Yeah, but he had
so
like
he's not going to hit better in AA than he hit in A ball. AA is way harder in A ball. So I would say you've got to give him 3 years.
No way. No
3
way.
years. 1 year in AA, 1 year in AAA, and 1 year between AA and AAA.
No way.
No way. He's 20 years old.
He's here in 24, guaranteed. If he stays in the Giants system or
he's
wherever
20
he goes,
years old, Dan. He's 20.
Care.
How many prospects graduate out to the big leagues at 21? It's not common. It's very uncommon.
I said 24. He'll be here in 24 at 22 years of age.
All right, Dan, I'll bet you $100 to win $100 that he's not there in 2020.
So you're saying,
I'll take that bet right
opening
now.
day,
on the sheets.
Opening day 2024, he's in their lineup.
If he's with the club, yeah. And if he's not, he's going to be in somebody else's starting lineup in 24.
I would take that as well. I don't believe that at all.
Okay.
You don't go from hitting 280 in A ball to suddenly but 288 in A ball.
He was crushing the ball,
Danny.
Though. He was starting to he was way lower than that, and he was building his average up.
I'm just saying, Giants hitters can show. Danny, Giants hitters show up in AA and they disappear. So now you're going to tell me that this is the one guy I mean, if we just
me
went
tell you
back,
about Will
wait,
Clark.
hold,
Did
I'm going
Will
to talk
Clark
for a
even
second. I'm
play
going to talk for a
AAA? He
second.
didn't even go
I'm
to
going to talk
AAA.
for a second.
Go ahead.
Elliot Ramos was first round draft choice. Elliot Ramos, how many years has Elliot Ramos been between AA and AAA? How many years? 3?
Well, they lost
This would be year
2020. They lost the 2020 season. So
the Giants have not had a hitter go from A ball to the majors in 2 years in my lifetime. And
Will
now
Clark
you're saying
went from AA to, did he even play AAA, Will Clark? I don't think he did.
Yeah, he did. He did. He played for Fresno. I don't know if he played AA. I think Will Clark skipped AA. I think he went from. But Will Clark was a unique guy, and Will Clark was a very, very high pick. So you're going to go with the one aberration, a guy who played a full college career at Mississippi State. Now that guy is, but I mean, my point is, look, go count all the Giant prospects through the last 15 years. They don't go from A ball to AA to AAA to the majors successively without hitting snags. The hardest level to hit is AA. Guys disappear in AA every single year in every single organization. Gary Brown, you name it.
I believe the plan is for Luciano to start next year. Probably would have been at AA by the end of this year if he hadn't have had a lower back strain. So he may be pushed back. So now he's probably going to start next year at AA, and then half the season at the halfway point he'll get promoted to AAA, and he'll be ready for the 24 season.
And that's if everything goes right.
They're banking on him being there because
no injuries. No setbacks.
Correct.
No struggles. He's blowing through the system. I don't buy it. I don't buy it. I don't buy it at all. I would say that he is 3 years away and he may never get here. And And Luis Matos, I think he's 3 years away and he may never get here. Elliot Ramos is probably a year away and he may never stick here. Joey Bart played full career at Georgia Tech. He, hit 294 in AAA last year. You saw what that 294, that's the highest level of the minor leagues. You saw what that 294 was this year. It was 155. He's hitting 155 when they sent him out. But suddenly now, it's so in the ideal world. And the reality is the Giants prospects so infrequently have taken that path that I don't know how we would structure that bet, but I would take it. I would absolutely take it. I do not believe that Marco Luciano, who has a huge swing, that guy is going to be ready to hit big league pitching night after night after night in 2 years. I don't see it.
He'll be here. I'm saying he'll be here in 24. I'll take that bet.
Opening day 24. He's in the lineup.
Yeah.
All right.
And he sticks. He sticks.
And he sticks with the club?
Yeah, he sticks.
Does he go down maybe for a little bit to like Bart? I don't know. But he'll be up in 24. I think he starts the year with the club because they won't.
I don't think he sticks. That's my point. I don't think he sticks.
Let's do a starts the year. Starts the year 24.
Yep.
And that's future Danny, Ryan, and Larry money, so it doesn't even count. So.
Yeah.
I actually kind of think that the Giants may go after, especially this. I expect the Giants at some point to jump into the free agent market. You saw the broadcast tonight. You saw the list of shortstops that are free agents at the end of the year. You're seeing where Crawford is at. Crawford will not last to Luciano. They will have to be somebody in between. Would you agree, or do you not agree?
Yes.
You don't think he'll? Luciano. That's the plan.
I think Crawford will be done before Luciano's ready.
I think Estrada's like honestly. I think Estrada could be our shortstop for 2 years.
If you check out the Giants website, they actually had Luciano projected for 23. but
Yeah, but
I don't think he's going to make it based
Danny,
I'm going off what the Giants say.
Danny,
Yeah,
I'll
well,
give
I
you.
mean, my God, go look up the Giant prospects. Do we have to do this? We did this exercise a few weeks
I
ago,
know.
didn't we not?
This is why I would trade him.
Did you not look at that? Do you not remember that exercise? We went back and looked at the Giant prospects. Look, call it up. Call it up right now, right?
Oh.
Dial up. Today is 2022. Dial up the Giants' top prospects in 2019, 3 years ago. We'll see. We'll see where those guys, how many of those guys in 3 years graduated to the big leagues as opposed to just crapped out.
Yeah, but you're talking to
where's Chris Shaw? Where's all these guys?
A little bit because I said I would trade those prospects for Soto. I wouldn't.
I know, but you're. What I'm saying is that this idea that these prospects are on the verge. I would trade them. I would trade them too because I don't believe in them. And why would I believe in them? Because I can name Chris Shaw was going to be unbelievable. Jesse Foppert was going to be unbelievable. Gary Brown was going to be unbelievable. And we can go on and on. I mean,
have you guys
and on and on.
Did you guys see the article though by Kerry Crowley today in the Mercury regarding that the Giants should trade for Soto right now, not before not August 2nd, but like this week? Did you see that?
I saw you sent it to us.
Yeah.
I mean, I know Kerry.
Very good article. And he goes on to say, with 2 weeks less remaining until the August 2nd trade deadline, MLB Network reporter John Morrissey said Thursday that one team he's watching closely in the Soto sweepstakes is the Giants. Why? Because they have been involved in different pursuits. They were in on Bryce Harper years ago, tried to trade for Stanton.
But let's review that for a second. Romo 2001 donates $5. Look at it at the bottom of the screen. When the Giants tried to trade for Giancarlo Stanton, they offered Tyler Beede, Elliot Ramos, Chris Shaw, and Christian Arroyo. What have those prospects done?
Nothing.
So don't you think that Mike Rizzo may, I don't know, have that knowledge as well?
But that's the case with most trades. I mean, let's be honest. Most
trades involving four prospects have all four prospects do absolutely nothing.
I can name, I mean, if you did the history on them, there might be one of those prospects in some of the trades that come out, but the
Shaw's out of organized baseball almost. Arroyo is a utility guy. Ramos is buried in AAA.
At the time, Miami
has no career.
That. Miami accepted that, but Stanton turned it down. He didn't want
to know. That's the point. That is the point, is that the Giants prospects suck. But and that you're expecting smart baseball executives to not notice that.
But what I'm saying is it's a different prospect philosophy. The Giants, I mean, Luciano and Matos
these are all bad prospects. You do realize, wait a second, you do realize that this regime that you're crapping on actually are the regime that drafted the core that went to the World Series. So you're giving them no credit for that, but you're gonna tell us that every guy that Farhan's got is gonna hit, despite the fact that he's in year 4 and none of them have hit so far. I mean, think about what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, here's the deal with the Giants.
My point is I like Farhan.
Let me tell you why I think this is different. Because the Giants prospects that hit with Sabian and Ned when they were there were a lousy team, and they were in the early 2000s, 4, 5, 6, 7. They were drafting early. And those guys, if you look at Kane, Bumgarner, and Lincecum, all top 10. Posey, top 10. Right?
They were all like top 15.
Okay, so when the Giants got good, they were drafting in the late 20s with all those busts that we just
but here, wait
and
a second.
Now these guys that came up are top draft picks. It's a difference.
But what round did Jeff Kent get drafted in? What round did Albert Pujols get drafted in? What round did Jim Thome get drafted in? The point is that you other organizations draft guys in later rounds. Heck, the only prospect that Farhan has drafted, developed, and promoted to the big leagues is David Villar. He was an 11th round pick. So you're telling me that the Giants they couldn't do anything because they had second round picks instead, or late first, as opposed to high first.
Usually don't make it. But
Farhan's only hitter to graduate so far was an 11th rounder.
Yeah, and those are aberrations. Those happen. Those happen in every organization. What I'm saying is the Giants won 3 World Series because they were crappy, like the Astros were crappy, and the Astros have been to the World Series because they were, 100-loss team. The Giants in the when Bonds was hurt, and then he
me in. When were the Dodgers super crappy for an extended period of time? I don't remember that. How did they get all these prospects? And they weren't. What 5-year period were they terrible?
They weren't the greatest in the 2000 early.
But they
2000s.
weren't picking top 10. All those Bellinger, Seager, all those guys are not all top 10 guys.
Well, they've drafted and developed well. They're kind of been the exception. I mean, they and that's what Farhan was brought in to do, though. He was brought in because he was part of that Dodger system. And Larry Baer said, recreate what you were doing in LA and start drafting and developing. And that's why they brought in Haynes. And that's why they got the whole center down here in Phoenix. They bought Papago Park from the A's, and they turned it into a development center, and it's state-of-the-art, first class. So when guys get injured, they're
the Giants have a newer facility.
That's what I'm saying. They have a brand new facility down here in right there on the edge of Scottsdale and Phoenix, where the A's used to do their spring training, and they turned it into a first-class facility where, I think Luciano's down there been getting well, and this is where they just signed the guy Rosenthal today. He's down here. So when they come down here to Phoenix, they're in a full training facility. The club is trying to completely turn the organization around to make it more like LA, and it's going to take 5 to 7 years. And right now they're in the 4th year.
It's funny, in the first year, it was like it's going to take 3 to 5 years. Now that we're in the 4th year, it's going to take 5 to 7 years. When we get to the 7th year, it's going to take 7 to 10 years.
Well, I think it says 5 to 7 to
just hasn't happened yet.
I mean, the Dodgers they're going for their 10th straight year in the playoffs. That's how good the Dodgers
Brian says Will Clark was on KMBR on Monday morning saying no way Soto would get 22 if he was on the Giants.
Did he say that?
I guess. That's what he said.
That's not what you want to hear.
I'm not going to worry about that. I'll worry about that later. Make the deal, but I think Luciano is a star. He's going to be a star in this game. I've watched his highlights.
I think the profile's there, but I don't. If you said, like, we're looking at the graphic that's up here now, that the trade hypothetical according to John Morosi, and this one has Marco Luciano, Kyle Harrison, Will Bednar, Elliot Ramos, and somebody named Randy Rodriguez.
Oh yeah, he's good. Rodriguez is a 100-mile-an-hour flamethrower.
I just saw him. It's funny. I just saw highlights of him the other day. He's got pretty nasty stuff.
Sent that to you. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I would do that deal.
Of that trade, of those guys right there, Harrison is probably maybe Bednar, but I would say the two pitchers have a very good chance to impact things. I'm not buying the Giant hitters because I haven't seen a Giant hitter come out of the farm system in a long time.
Dan, you said Marco Luciano will be a star. Yeah, I am going to give you another bet. $100 to win $100 that Marco Luciano is ever an all-star.
Take it.
All right. Putting it down.
I've got $200 in my pocket tonight.
Think Blue says, Larry, stop.
A couple years.
I'm dying laughing. You were hitting this right on the spot.
No, I think
maybe that was the Farhan stuff.
Yeah, I think that Marco Luciano, I've watched him. I've watched all of his highlights. He's got incredible bat speed. He's only going to get better. He's 20 years old.
He looks like he's outgrowing shortstop, and that he's becoming more thickly muscled, like he's probably going to be a third baseman or a left fielder.
That's fine. Put him in a right fielder.
Well, it's not fine. It's not fine because if you can hit and you're a shortstop, you're a hell lot more valuable than if you can hit and you're a left fielder. So it devalues him. You do understand that, right? That if a guy's a shortstop,
how does it devalue him in left field? Juan Soto's left field.
I'm just saying a shortstop that rakes is more valuable than a left fielder who rakes.
Why? Because
he's playing shortstop.
Well,
it's like the same reason
same reason be the highest paid player in the game soon.
Yeah, but I'm saying if you're a shortstop and you hit, you're a more valuable prospect than if you're a left fielder and you hit. If you're a catcher and you hit, what do you mean that makes no sense? What do you mean that makes no sense?
Because Juan Soto's a left fielder and he's going to be become the highest paid player.
And he would be
So how's
more
that
and Juan Soto as a take the exact player that he is right now, he's infinitely more valuable if he's a shortstop.
I don't see it because it's
What?
bad. I mean,
Think it over. Think it
left
over.
fielder. Barry Bonds was the greatest player of our
Why
generation.
was Buster so valuable? Because he was a great hitter and he was a catcher.
Exactly, and that's good.
Great hitting catchers are rare.
They're all valuable.
If Barry
If you took
Bonds
Buster
was
Posey and put him at first
shortstop,
base, he loses value.
Well,
facts.
yeah, that's
Yeah,
true.
there you go. That's my point.
But you take Juan Soto, you take Barry Bonds out of left field, and you make him a both
Shortstop,
first
he's
baseman.
more valuable.
If they put him at first, they're still valuable.
Still valuable, but like Ozzie Guillen. Imagine Ozzie Guillen was the left fielder.
I mean, shortstop's the most athletic position, that in center field in baseball,
Yeah.
right?
It's
I
the
agree.
defense. It's
I
the
agree.
defense. If you have a shortstop, it's a defensive position. If your guy also rakes, now he's that much more valuable. If you have a great offensive shortstop, and then, by the way, by the time he gets to the majors, he's actually a left fielder, he's lost value. You do get that, right?
Yeah, I totally get that. And I understand that catcher and shortstop are in very valuable positions as well as center field.
So if you have offense from defensive positions, you're that much more ahead of the game. That's the point.
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
my point, and you see this all the time. Giants will have a guy and he's listed as a shortstop, and then all of a sudden, well, he's not a shortstop. Tommy Joseph was going to be a really good hitting catcher, but then he couldn't catch. So now he got to the big leagues and suddenly he was a left fielder. Well, he's kind of a immobile left fielder with a decent bat. That, as you can obviously tell, is a whole lot less valuable than if he were still a catcher and providing the same offense.
I see your point. Have you looked at Marco Luciano highlights? So have you checked him out?
Oh yeah, no, I've watched him extensively.
Yeah.
He's thickening. He takes a massive swing.
Right.
To me, he looks like he's going to be like a 25 home run, 250, like a 250 hitter with like 25 home runs, and he doesn't even look like a fast guy anymore.
Yeah, I mean,
forget this. We're talking about successful guys. What about like Lucius Fox? They spent $6 million on Lucius Fox. Where's he?
Right. He's with Nationals.
So my point is just that there's a lot of these guys that fail.
I'm pretty sure
and he threw up his sausage in the infield right before a game too.
I'm pretty sure Lucius Fox is the name of the guy in The Dark Knight that Morgan Freeman plays.
Romo 2001. He said, "Did you catch my super chat?" Yes, I did. We'll throw it up there one more time. Romo 2001 says, when the Giants tried to get Stanton, they offered Beatty, Ramos, Shaw, and Arroyo. What have those prospects done? Prospects should be used to trade. I agree. Nobody cares about your organizational record. Like I've heard people say, well, with Giants have one of the, we wanted a ball. We wanted, nobody cares. Nobody cares.
Yeah.
Nobody cares if you win in the minor leagues, and nobody really cares about what you do in the minor leagues.
There we
It's
go.
all about the
Factual
major leagues.
toilet. Look at that. And look at his profile pic. I love it. Okay.
He says, in defense of Danny, moving him to third isn't that bad of a drop-off, right? The hot corner holds value, and Marco has the prototypical arm to hold down that position.
Machado,
Absolutely.
Arenado.
But here, this just in, and I've talked to many shortstops about this, Rich Aurelia, one of them. Just because you've got the range to play shortstop doesn't mean that you have the reaction time to play third. Totally different skill set, really.
Right.
So there are guys, every guy who plays shortstop can't necessarily transition to third.
Machado did.
Most can.
Machado did a great job of transitioning from short to third.
Yeah,
When he was
he
with
did.
Baltimore, he was a shortstop.
But some guys don't do that well because they don't have the reaction time.
No, I do think that it is different when you are drafting guys in the top 10 versus drafting guys in the late 20s like the Giants did after winning, all those winning seasons. And from 2010 through 2016, they were pretty much, top 10 of baseball. So they're drafting after the 20th pick. And it's a lot harder to hit at 22, 25 than it is at 4, 5, 6, 7. I mean, go look at those draft picks. Buster was number 5. Mad Bum was number 10.
Yeah, and look at the guys that were picked ahead of Buster. They're all busts. Skipworth or whatever, and Beckham, the Tampa Bay shortstop.
Yeah,
I'm just saying, the baseball draft is a crapshoot.
It is. It is a real crapshoot. And one of the things the Giants might do to get creative in this draft, in this possible Soto deal, is those guys that you just put up there for the deal that had Ramos and Bednar and Harrison. Those guys, they might add. Carl, or what's his name? Willie? Was it Willie Crawford? The guy they just picked?
Reggie.
Okay.
Yeah.
Reggie Crawford.
Well, okay. Did I show you? There was a guy who put a trade out there today. You know that website? I don't know which website it is, but it gives you a total value.
Yeah, the value one.
Okay,
yeah.
so this is the trade that they had. They had a Soto to the Giants trade, and the total value was 121.90 and 129.70. The Nationals would be getting a little bit more value than
that 121. That means they've got to have Corbin back.
Yeah, so this is the deal. It's Corbin, who's minus 54.9. And then Soto, who's 176.8. So you combine them together, it's 121.90. Okay. The Giants would be sending to the Nationals in this trade Kyle Harrison, who's a 39.2 player, Marco Luciano, who's a 54.3 player, Luis Matos, who's a 19.3 player, Elliot Ramos, who's an 11.5 player, and a left-handed pitcher who throws hard named Matt Mikulski. And Mikulski's a 5.4 player. So the Giants would be giving the Nationals 129.70, and the Giants would be getting back 121.90. Now, that trade I would absolutely do. Harrison, Luciano, Matos, Ramos, and Mikulski. You keep Logan Webb,
Reggie Crawford,
and you're taking on Corbin. You're taking on Corbin, and you're getting Soto, and you're trading your top 3 prospects, and then a live-armed lefty and Elliot Ramos.
And I'd give them Wade if they want somebody that's a major league player. Put Wade in that deal.
The one thing that's exciting about this, Danny, enough of the Wade. Nobody wants Wade. Wade's a nobody.
But
you do realize
that,
like right?
The Nationals will take him just to have a player they got to replace Soto.
First of all, Farhan and Gabe love him. I don't know why, but they do. Second of all, how old is Wade? Wade's been in the minors forever.
He's 29.
31.
He's a 29-year-old career minor leaguer, platoon outfielder at best, who could play a little first base. I mean, he is talk about your non-factor. My God, he is the biggest non-factor there's ever been. I mean, he's just nothing. I mean, he had one, nice little run last year, and Giants fans have just put his value and skyrocketed it. He doesn't have the kind of value that people think.
I don't think he's like a star, but I'm talking about as a throw-in to have a major league, because the rest of the guys aren't even ready to play for a few years.
All right. But I mean, you want to throw him in. But my point is that he's not moving the needle. But from this trade, Harrison's in the minors, Luciano's in the minors, Matos, Ramos, and Mikulski, they're all minors. Right. So you would be getting a major league starting pitcher and the best player in your franchise since Barry Bonds, and you're not giving away any players at the major league level.
I do it in a heartbeat. I mean, and
I think Farhan would probably do it in a heartbeat.
Well,
now I don't know that that's his inclination to want to do that kind of move, but I bet you Larry Bear and the owners are like, "Hey,
here's the conversation.
We're dull.
I don't know what they look like, but here's what I think they might look like." Talking to Rizzo, okay, we've offered you this package of these players. What's it going to take to get it done? Is this good enough? And if it's not, what else do you want? And comes back with,
sometimes I wonder though if they don't.
trade Luis Gonzalez in that deal too. Absolutely, I would. Even though I loved Luis Gonzalez, he's another guy
Dropped
that
the fly ball tonight.
well, he didn't drop it. He
That
just
was
missed
okay. You know what?
missed it.
Honestly, we've not even necessarily talked about tonight's game as much as we've just talked about the future Giants. Like tonight's game, that was embarrassing. That was super embarrassing that Luis Gonzalez missed that fly ball.
Well, those things happen because the ball was in the twilight. I mean, it was hit high. If you notice how high the ball was, it's pretty tough to his defense. It was like he knew it was hit out to him. He just never saw it off where it went. It was in the blue sky. And I don't know. What do you guys think of this? Baseball's a funny, I mean,
you got to make that play. You got to make that play.
I know you do. I don't think they'll
The
ever
ESPN
change it.
broadcast said there was a 99.3% chance. Of
Right. But he just lost it. I mean, games at that time in the summer are very difficult. Before the lights take effect, it's like that was like 7:40. It got really hot. I've had that happen to me before where you can't see it and you're just, you're like desperate. Where the heck is this thing coming? And
what about the Slater one? That was horrible.
To me, that was a horrible misjudgment. And why I'm saying with center fielders, I was talking as
he's a totally overrated center fielder.
He is. I mean, I got to admit, he plays.
People fell in love. He's a converted infielder, and you can tell.
Yeah, he should be on the corners.
The only
He
thing
defers to Yaz at times, and he's playing center.
He
So
should
he
be on
shouldn't
the
be
corners.
deferring.
The only thing positive out of tonight is that their FIP just kept going up.
To me, if I was playing that outfield tonight, I think Gonzalez's position is actually better in center than right. I saw him play center when he first came up, when they first brought him up, and he actually gets better jumps. He sees the ball better. I think he's more of a
Then
natural.
play him out there.
That's
Play him
where I
out
would.
there.
And I put Slater in
I
right.
mean, the Giants' defense this year is really taking a backslide. Clarence Beeks. Now, this is something I totally agree with. He's like, in this context, I don't want to hear about a guy until he's lighting up AA. And it's totally true. It's like there's no more. I have no more interest, patience for the guy who's awesome for the Eugene Emeralds.
I
Don't care.
understand.
Don't
I
care.
understand.
It doesn't matter at all because it's like, the majors is such a higher level that until you not just get to AA, until you get to AA and really dominate in AA, then we should talk about you. We should talk about you after you dominated AA. Like Harrison, right? Didn't Harrison have a dominant run in AA?
He's had some really good games, yeah.
So, I mean, Harrison's a guy that I think you can talk about now because he's conquered AA baseball. AA is like, there's so many guys who they're an all-star in A-ball, and after a couple years in AA, they're plumbers, and nothing against plumbers, but they're looking for a new line of work. So that's just my point. It's just that AA is like, if you get to AA and you do it, okay, let's talk. Let's talk about what you are. If you get to AA and you were great in A-ball, it's still a wait and see. Wait and see.
Absolutely. And how about the fact that, like, you know what? We haven't even talked about Darren Ruff hitting an unbelievably clutch freaking home run. Like, that was unbelievable. Aside from the start of this cast, when we were running down what happened in the game, like, I mean, I do like that we showed a little bit of life, but
I thought they were going to go down like lambs, and the fact that they battled back shows they got a little fight.
Yes.
But I'm still kind of wondering if Gabe has lost the veterans, because Belt's at bats tonight were just horrible.
bizarre. Honestly, bizarre.
They pinch hit for him last week in a weird situation, and I don't know. It just makes me wonder if he's no longer buying in here, because he normally would grind. He's a grinder. That's what Brandon Belt does. He grinds and grinds and grinds. Every count's 3-2. Tonight it was like, I've never seen him give away 3 at-bats in a row like that. First at-bat, he swung at the first pitch, popped it up. Second at-bat, he swung at the first pitch, fouled it off, then swung at the second pitch. Third at-bat, he bunted in a tie game in the 7th. I mean, those are 3 disastrous at-bats. And I'd love to know what's going through his mind. I'd love to know.
I mean, seriously, in the Joey Bart, like I can't knock the guy he's still such a young dude, and to put him up in that situation, it's just like start the dude, start him. I don't care if Austin Wynn gets
absolutely.
For Austin Wynns,
that's a superior defensive player as well.
Here's how dumb this is. The Giants go on a roll, right? At the end of the
roll, absolutely.
On a roll, 7-2. Bart, did he catch all 4 games against Milwaukee or the last 3?
No, I think he caught. I thought
he caught
Wynns
the last
caught 1.
3. I think he caught the last 3, didn't he? If you go look at the box scores, I'm pretty sure he caught all of them. Anyway, they went on a roll. Bart's on a roll. They get 3 days off, and you rest a 24-year-old kid for a journeyman catcher to start the second half. How is that not having a feel for what's going on in your game? I mean, okay, Joey, you're our guy. You really played well. You're hitting over 300 since you come back. You've hit some clutch home runs, and you're driving the ball. Your strikeout rate's down. You're catching great behind the plate. You're calling a great game, and you've had 3 days of rest. I think you need a 4th. What the heck is that?
No, seriously, and like if you want to take Bart from getting all of a sudden getting super hot and Will Clark and all that stuff, if you want to just make it so that he completely cools off and we just like lose him as a player this year, let's just not start him the first game back versus the Dodgers. Let's bring him in a super high leverage situation where he feels like he has to like be a hero and then botches it. Like it's so dumb. It's so dumb.
Well, and it's just like, sometimes I wonder if there's so many games in baseball that you just start losing your focus and losing your game plan. Like the game plan with Joey Bart has got to be ABs. He's got to bat, whether that be at AAA or the majors. Having him sitting doesn't make sense. Having him sitting for a nothing like Wynns makes even less sense. The other thing that was frustrating, the Giants defensively, it's not just the Luis Gonzalez. He's been pretty decent. But how about Wynns' throw on the stolen base attempt to second, and then Flores boots it and he goes into center field? I mean, so, the Giants are really, they're in a tough spot defensively. Coccimilgio donates $10. He says, first, flip Rodon for a top 25 to top 50 prospect. Then take that prospect, Luciano, Bednar, and Ramos, and trade it to the Nationals for Soto and Corbin. Yeah, I kind of said that earlier.
I think I heard that somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, that's, and then Calba brings up the point. He says Hunter Bishop is 24 years old and he's hitting 229 in high A.
What's freaking Patrick Bailey hitting? Like 190. Like, yeah. It's crazy. Also, I hate to say it, but like this goes back to Danny saying that low-key the Dodgers own the Giants, which I vehemently disagree with, but I love the Dodgers killing it in the chat. 118 in the chat, 118 viewers. Hit that like button.
There you go.
Dominated by I love Dodgers, but he kind of is. He's kind of dominating.
Okay, I don't know if Bart started the first game against Milwaukee. He did make an appearance. I can't tell by the box score if he started. I think because Wynns started, but he did start the last 3, and that was a Friday night,
Wynns
a Saturday.
I look at Wynns as like a no-tool guy. I mean, there's 5 tools, 4 tools. What is his tool? I'm still trying to.
His tool.
It's that scene from when having a consultant in Office Space, and he looks across the table and he says, "What would you say you do here?" You know what I mean? I would say that about Austin Wynns. What would you say you do here? You're not a hitter. You're not a defender. What exactly is he doing right now?
The guy.
Why should he ever play over Joey Bart? I guess is the question.
Because he's cousins with Papirski, I think.
Yeah, he got me fired up. Like, I'm not gonna lie, he got me fired up for a bit. Like, it seemed like he was the guy. But I swear to God, I was watching him and he was having issues with the technology. I forget what it's called, but like the technology where like, you're making the signs to the pitcher. He was having issues with it. And like Duvall, especially, like I saw him be like, oh, it's my bad. Like it seemed like he was clicking the wrong button. All I know is that Joey Bart is actually like a very good defender. Like as much as we want to rip on him, the guy's very good.
Bart's been good. Just leave him in there. Yeah. And they won the last 3 games against Milwaukee with him starting all 3 games. Only way I can see Wins starting game 1 is if this was Monday and you were going with Bart on a 4th day with no, catching 3 straight days with no rest. You just had 3 days of rest. Why would you start Austin Wins in place? I don't care if he has good camaraderie with Rodon.
Yeah.
Bart's your catcher.
Bart, like that's a kick in the D.
Romo 2001, Rye. Tonight was poo-poo in the pants.
It was. And you know what?
Look at Danny.
Not one person could predict that they were going to come back. I was watching, but like kind of a little zoned out. Like there's no way they're going to come back. The fact that they came back and then
went ahead.
They had so much doo-doo in their pants in 1/2 inning. That was unbelievable.
They should have
Giants lost this one twice tonight. That's what was so tough to watch.
Oh my God.
They lost it. They got back in it. They took the lead. They lost it again.
I'll tell you where they lost the game.
Dan, how about this? Dan, how about this? If you're watching on the ESPN broadcast, they literally said word for word, the Giants will never win a game like this because they don't have a good enough defense. And then they ended up coming back. But then how about that inning where, Luis Gonzalez loses it? Then immediately Mookie Betts makes an unbelievable play and Cody Bellinger makes an unbelievable play. And it was such a FU to like, oh, you guys like defense? Well,
the Giants have been known for defense, which is crazy.
I
That's
know.
the thing.
What do you guys think of this one? GD5 guys says heard on the radio today that Duvall could be part of the package for Soto.
That's fine.
That's fine.
That's fine.
I mean, there's a lot of guys.
There's nobody they could trade. Let's be totally honest about this. There's really nobody that they could trade that you're going to sit there. If tomorrow, if tomorrow, I'll say this: if tomorrow there was a headline and all you read was, and you looked at your phone and went ding, you look down, Giants get Juan Soto for a package, you would be super fired up. Regardless of what that package is. Agree or disagree?
Agree. Absolutely. Here's what I'm going to predict.
Only Logan Webb would make you even go pause.
I'm going to tell you what the package is. I'm going to tell you what I believe the package is going to be.
Let's talk about your package.
How girthy is your package, Dan?
It's going to be Luciano and Harrison, 1 and 2.
That's 4 inches.
It's going to be Matos, 3. And it's going to be Luis Gonzalez is going to be part of this package because he's
really
young. I believe he's going to end up being part of the package because he can kind of take Soto's place for a while and he's controllable for how many years? A lot of years. He's got no arbitration eligible. That's what the Nationals are looking for good young talent, and it's cheap. And then they're going to take Corbin back. So it's going to be those top 3 prospects. And I will say it might be the number 10 pitcher that Matt Milkulski guy. He's supposed to be, Giants are high on him. And then they keep Bednar as, their 4th prospect. So 1, 2, 3, and 10 plus Gonzalez. Giants get Corbin and Soto, and as a possibility, Duvall could get thrown into the package as well. And that's it.
Entropy says walking Bellinger to face Mookie was the game. Jay Silva, Harleen Garcia was in over his head. Kaplan was forcing it. I agree. I disagree. I think Kaplan blew that one. What do you guys think?
Gabe Kaplan.
Well, Mr. Carter. Hey, Mr. Carter. Gabe Kaplan. Do you remember that show?
Welcome Back, Cotter. Was it Gabe Cotter?
Right doesn't remember. Welcome Back, Cotter was awesome.
Yeah. That was
Vinny Babaloo.
Yeah, Vinny. That was John Travolta,
Horseshack.
wasn't it?
Remember Horseshack?
Oh yeah, Horseshack. Yeah.
Arnold Horseshack.
Yeah. So here's the game was definitely lost there, and it was also lost in the 5-run inning when they left bases loaded with 1 out. They needed to add. They were up 6-5, and I felt like that wasn't enough when it was 6-5.
Oh, for sure. You knew it wasn't enough.
I felt that way too, but also it's like
I thought they were going to lose, even at 6-5.
San Francisco Giants team scored 5 freaking runs in 1 inning. I couldn't be that mad after they surpassed the
Well, when they went up 6-5 and they had bases loaded after being walked, 1 out, and then Slater comes up and hits the cheap little grounder. You got to get the ball in the air and drive it.
I love the Dodgers. Says I like Dan's package.
But look at Faith. Oh, damn it!
Where is Faith? Is she in the background?
Oh, she was. It was
all furniture.
Oh, she's gone. Oh, dang it!
Over there.
Bosh.
Hey, Faithy Poo, come on.
What'd you call it? What'd you call her?
Faithy Poo.
Faithy Poo?
There she is. Hey, Faith. Say hello, Faith.
Hey, Faith.
Faith looks a little thick. What are you watching? Little Niners?
Faith is thick.
Yeah, Little Niners training camp.
What do you got there?
That's the Raiders.
Hey, Buster,
The Raiders at camp. That's right.
Oh,
the Raiders have Devontae Adams now and Chandler Jones.
I know. What the hell? It's so brutal that they all of a sudden have this awesome team and they're just in the most difficult division.
Say hello to everybody.
Faith looks like she's pretty.
Faith
tough.
is girth, man. She's like
She's
Trent
the girth
Williams.
god.
She's built, man.
She's like a Pasquale Chorizo.
I don't know what it is too, because I'm not feeding her a lot. She might have a thyroid issue. I got to take her in
Oh shit!
because she's like gaining weight and it's crazy.
She's like Zion Williamson.
Yeah.
All right, guys. It is 12:47. So let's play some spots right here, and we'll come back for our final thoughts on the Krueg Show. Larry Krueger here for Telmetrics. Thanks to Casey Bateman and the good people at Telmetrics. If you're an occupational therapist, if you're an orthopedic surgeon, a chiropractor, a physical therapist of any kind, Telmetrics is designed for you to use in your practice and will greatly benefit your patients. Telmetrics uses computer vision and artificial intelligence and provides a platform for outpatient rehab therapy services, both in the clinical and the telehealth environments. So using Telmetrics can improve your patient's experience and much more. So for all your sports injury needs, or if you're a physical rehabilitation specialist of any kind, make sure you use telmetrics.co, TELMETRIX.co. And thanks to Casey Bateman and all the good people at Telmetrics for being a proud sponsor of the Krueg. I'd like to thank our sponsor, Dan Coccimilgio. Dan is a buddy, and he is a phenomenal retirement planning specialist. And you can contact him today at securemoney.com or at his number 925-628-9966. There's a lot of uncertainty in our world right now, and you want to make sure that your money is secure. That is the key. Danny's got 25 years of experience, born and raised right here in the Bay Area, and he can help you get an immediate 10% premium bonus on your principal retirement account. So give him a call, 925-628-9966. He'll make an appointment with you, and you can sit down. It's not a one-size-fits-all kind of a deal. He'll consult with you and come up with a strategy to get you going to where you want to be. Once again, 925-628-9966, securemoney.com on the web. And thanks to Tony Cassera and the good people at Cassera's Italian Menswear. They are housing the Krueg Show t-shirts, and they're a proud sponsor of the show as well. The Krueg Show t-shirt, the Krueg Show podcast t-shirt is available there at their store in Dublin. Their address is 7372 San Ramon Road in Dublin, California. And go see Tony Cassera and get yourself a Krueg Show t-shirt and support the show. And special thanks to our sponsor, New York Style Italian Sausage. That's right, NewYorkStyleSausage.com is their website. Phenomenal product, whether it's the breakfast sausage, the Italian mild, the Italian spicy, the chorizo. You cannot go wrong with New York Style Italian Sausage. Once again, NewYorkStyleSausage.com. Often imitated, never equaled.
We grew up with a Sunday dinner. That means no matter how busy you were, no matter where the hell you were, you came to dinner on a Sunday night. Yeah, Sunday dinner without sausage, it's like a church without God. You know, how can you go to church if you don't believe in God? You know, and along with the sausage also became the discussions. That was discussion night. You know, it wasn't a typical family that you sit there and you're quiet, you know, and you don't talk with a mouthful. Oh no, man. Italians talk when they're eating. Italians even talk when they're sleeping. And definitely we talk with our hands. So if we can't express it through our mouth, through our lips, we express it with our hands. So, and that's what sausage is, really. It's an expression, you know, that life is good.
Carlo P says the Krueg show is discussion night. I love the Dodgers says this guy is awesome. They love Pasquale. What else do we got here? There we go. Pasquale Kapler's replacement. Could you imagine if Pasquale was the Giants manager?
That's great.
Anonymous. Look how they massacred my sausage. Oh, that is awesome.
Oh,
that is
man.
Awesome.
Hey, there's Ringo. What's he doing? Playing ball? Doing eye movement?
This is kind of interesting. Clarence Beek says, do you guys think the Giants' first pick in this draft, Reggie Crawford, was a little unserious, a little gimmicky? Well, I wouldn't. I mean, first of all, I would say this. It's taking a massive swing. It's like, you know what? We're picking at the end of the first round. They pick, 32nd or whatever it was, 29th, whatever
30th,
it was.
30th. They went for the best.
And they just said, you know what?
upside.
We're going to go for the highest upside guy. He's probably low percentage of making it. We're not going to go safe. We're not going to, we're going to go with somebody who's a major talent. So they got a left-handed pitcher who throws 100, who's also a hitter and only played in like 6 or 7 games this whole year. So if he had gone the full year and did what he did, he probably would have been a mid-first round pick.
Oh, they were saying he was top 5, top 10 talent prior to the arm injury or the Tommy John. I have no problem with the pick at 30th doing that. You know why? Look at everybody who's drafted at 30th. The majority of them never see the big legs. They just, or if they do, they're just, utility guys or whatever, or, maybe a 5th starter or whatever. Guys just don't, it's hard to make it. So go for the highest upside and maybe you hit a home run. And if you strike out, big deal. I mean,
well, and you never know too. I mean, you gotta think that, when the draft was held, they have a pretty good idea that at that point that Soto was going to be available. So who knows? Maybe a high upside. Basically, it's got a lotto ticket. Maybe a guy like Crawford is, the high upside lotto ticket that you could throw in.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, you could have
that would intrigue them.
He's a total Patrick Baldwin.
Yeah, he could. Hey, the talent is there. He has the tools. The guy was going to be a swimmer. I mean, he's very athletic.
I want to hear that, honestly.
No, I mean, the fact that he could hit a baseball, home runs, and throw a 100-mile-an-hour fastball and be an elite swimmer shows. I'm just saying it shows that he's very athletic.
If they ever have which giant can swim across the cove fastest, that's going to be valuable.
Yeah,
that's going to be valuable. Guys, you know what happened tonight? Reggie Crawford threw a shutout. He went out to the water and swam across the cove.
Yes.
I mean, and the fans went crazy.
Yeah. I haven't seen a breaststroke like that since Phelps.
This guy can flat out swim.
You just take my points of athleticism and just –
Hey, GD5 says Reggie Crawford at least looks like an elite athlete, so that was good to see.
Hell, his name sounds like an elite athlete.
Yeah, and the second guy was
if you had to bet all your money that you
too.
own, if you had to bet all your money on Reggie Crawford makes it or doesn't, what are you betting on?
Like just
Oh,
like
God
one
damn.
one day in the big leagues?
No. Oh, wait. I've got the bet. Okay. It's 1-1. So even odds either side. Patrick Baldwin becomes a starter for the Golden State Warriors, or Reggie Crawford becomes a starter for the San Francisco Giants. That's a good one.
I'll go with what's his name again?
Patrick Baldwin.
Patrick Baldwin Jr. I'll go with PBJ. I'll go with PB and J.
Yeah, PB and J. That's another thing. Is like his nickname's already. It's
You know
already
how many years we're gonna have to wait for Reggie Crawford to?
Oh my God! My son will be hosting shows by that point. Hey, let me throw this one out to you guys. I read a stat today. Have you ever read a stat and you're following a sport and you feel like you're up on it, and then you read a stat and you're like, is that right? Like it's so amazing that you almost like have to go look for another source because you're like, don't believe it.
Yeah.
I'm looking. We had Bill Shaken on today from the LA Times. We were talking Dodgers. I went to the Dodgers stat thing on the computer as we're talking to him. Guess what the combined record of Tyler Anderson and Tony Gonsolin was going into the break? Do you guys want to guess? I mean, Danny, do you know? If you know it, don't say it.
I know it.
Okay. Let me guess.
So let Danny don't say it.
27-3.
Oh, we got. You've heard of low information voters. This is low information host.
Why?
I'm just dogging Ryan.
21-1.
Yep.
Okay, so I wasn't even that far off. 27-3, 21-1. Yeah.
Tyler Anderson and Tony Gonsolin.
Gonsolin's 11-0.
Going to the break, into the All-Star break. Granted, it's a little bit late. 21-1. LA's got Dustin May coming back. They got Walker Buehler coming back. They've got like 7 different pitchers coming back. Danny Duffy's coming back. LA's got more guys coming back than you would believe.
Yeah,
they got like 7. They got like 7 guys on the injured list that are all coming back, but they got 21-1. 21-1. One guy's like 10-1. The other guy's 11-0.
And then it's just like, oh, you know what? We'll just throw out Mike White tonight. Yeah.
Can I read you, since we're on stats? Can I read you
Mitchell White. He went to Bellarmine, actually.
I want to read you some stats since we're on stats and we were talking about stats. Here's a guy's batting average in A ball. 273 A, low A, 273, 273.
Who are you reading?
How many home runs?
278 in
who are you
A
reading?
and double A.
Who's that?
Hold on. Double A, 255. Next year, home runs. Highest home runs was 22. 21. First year was 4, and then 0, and then 4.
Juan Soto.
2018 hit 16 homers, hit 286, 109 strikeouts. Never hit 300 in the minors. 286 total. Yeah. So who do you think that guy is?
Mookie Betts.
No.
Jock Peterson.
No. I'm relating this to, because you guys were talking about Luciano. It's Fernando Tatis. He never tore it up in A or double A or triple A.
He got traded in the minor leagues for big game James Shields.
Yeah. And I don't even think.
How bad was that trade, by the way?
You know what? Hold
All right,
on,
guys.
hold on.
Hold on. It's 1 o'clock in the morning.
He skipped triple A.
No more holding on.
He didn't even play triple A, Tatis. He went from double A to the Padres.
Tell somebody who cares. Here we go. Let's wrap it up here. We're wrapping it up.
Your theory there.
We're wrapping it up.
Yeah, Dan's going full J Hutch on you, Larry, just dunking on you with theories.
I'm coming back at you guys because I think I think what people do in baseball is they look at the tools and they see, and it isn't all stats, because
you know who had tools? That shortstop they traded for Papirski. What was his name?
I can't say his name. I don't remember.
All right, here we go. We're going to play the out. Do you got anything you want to play?
Oh, yeah,
on the way
one
out?
final thought. Outfield. Giants' top defensive center fielders this year. Who would you say they are?
Yaz and then Duggar.
Duggar is the best center fielder they had.
How about, do you think it was Duggar and the guy I can't say?
Dude.
And they're both gone?
Duggar was the best center fielder.
Yeah,
the
Duggar,
rest of these
and then
guys are
who was-
converted infielders.
But he was actually their defensive replacement. May I say, Dubon.
All right, let's get fired up here. Let's go! Let's fired up!
The best part of it.
Look at the guy with the Giants hat right behind this guy, off this guy's right shoulder with the fatigue. Look at the look on his face as he's chanting. Look, he's like, what the hell's going on here? Look at him. He's got his hands in his pockets.
Yeah, the guy with the gray shirt.
Larry! All right, let's hear it.
Yeah, never met a man I've been scared of. Careful, you gon' get exactly what you asked for. Here for whatever you bring me, getting handled. I answer to no one, I don't need to hassle. Yeah, we ain't never fall back.